Hello, everybody, and welcome once again to another edition of the Spartan Sports Report here on TV3. Thanks for joining us. Sam, we have the athletic director with us.
Yeah, Andrea Van Meter. Always glad to have her.
Always
She's a wealth of knowledge.
And I hope she enjoys it.
Yeah.
Well, she keeps coming back. I don't know.
I come back.
Maybe she likes punishment.
The pay's real good. So
Yeah, it does.
That's part of what
Pays a
brings her
lot.
back.
Yeah, you can probably expect about a 25% increase over last time.
Okay, awesome. That's,
Right, we'll up it a little bit each time until we blow the thing up or something.
blow the bank up, right?
Right.
Till the bank goes empty.
You have a busy week starting midweek.
This week or last week?
Last week, I
Yep.
mean, you entertained Union County coming to Connorsville, Spartan Bowl. Was that a success? Sell a lot of popcorn?
We sold a lot of popcorn.
That's
We
good.
definitely sold a lot of popcorn. We sold approximately, I can't say sold that many tickets. We sold 1,700 tickets at the gate, and then I would say estimate with all sport tickets and everyone else in the house, probably close to 4,000 is what we
Wonderful,
had.
isn't
So great night, great opening night for Coach Mack.
Yes.
A lot of kids playing again, back on the team that haven't played in a couple years, so getting to experience that themselves from the tunnel, not sitting in the stands. So, I mean, it was a good night, big night. Had a lot of people in the ticket line, so hopefully we can kind of push some things a little bit better for online tickets, so people don't have to wait in line. They can just kind of come in and show their tickets. But overall, I think it was a good night. We won, pulled off the victory, so that's always nice, especially for the first game for Coach Mack.
Right.
Is there an extra charge for getting tickets online?
I think there's like a convenience fee. Basically, they charge tax, is what it is. So, but I know a lot of schools, that's all they do is
Right.
online tickets. So you have to have them before you can even go. A lot of them don't even take cash anymore. So we're trying to get there just to help people make it a little bit faster. Or for people like me who don't carry cash,
Yeah.
it's easier.
Yeah. But the other easy way is early in the season, get the all sports ticket.
Get your all sport ticket. We sell them for sale. So they're in the
And-
office, and
And for us old folks, it's a real good deal.
it is 70 and over. You get your lifetime pass, and we've got a lot of people actually that came in. We had a couple guys come in today to get their passes, and we pretty much sell all sport tickets over the summer. We start in like the spring, but then over the summer we have a big push, and then now that basketball season, we have the past probably 3 or 4 weeks. We sell anywhere between 5 to 10 a day, which isn't a whole lot, but considering it's mid-season,
It's a good deal.
yeah, quite a bit.
You
Especially if you
call
attend.
all events tickets now? Then they change the name?
Well, I mean, they get you into, you can't say all events. They get you
Okay.
into the sporting
Regular.
events, regular events. I say all sports, not all events, because if you call them all events, then people think they can get into the sectionals and invitationals, but those
Well,
things
that's
are
true,
usually
yes.
separate because
Yep, be
they
careful.
cost a little bit more money to host different tournaments and invitationals. So, and then the state requires you to charge for their events.
Yeah, speaking of that, a lot of grumbling, myself included, that couldn't watch state finals without paying for it for football,
Yeah.
which they got to find a better way.
Yeah, I don't know what their charge is. Is it 15?
It's like $20, I
Is
think.
it 20?
for-
I say I don't know what it is. I know, and they own the rights to
Right.
just that game. I don't think they let anybody else televise. So not. I mean, usually through the tournament up until I think semi-state, local broadcasting can pay to do it. But I think once they get to
I
the
know
state, yeah.
radio can still broadcast, but you still have to pay the IHSA for
Oh, yeah.
broadcasting
Well, of
rights.
course you do.
Right.
Of
which
course you do.
which I understand that, but it's the individuals, the fans at home that I feel for that have
Sure.
to pay.
I want to watch. And I get, if you're watching it from home, you're not going and participating in the, the parking and the concessions and the venue and stuff. And I understand a fee, but I don't know that it has to be
Yeah.
that high.
Right. And-
I mean, we lose ticket sales by having TV3 do some of our home games, especially in the wintertime. People are like, oh, I'll just watch it on TV and I don't have to go to the game. I know there's a little bit of a time delay, but I mean, we do lose some for that. So I could see where the IHSA does that. Like, hey, I don't have to drive to Indianapolis. I can just sit at home and watch the game, and if it's for free, I see that.
Right.
On my side of it, I can see why they charge, but I don't know
Sure.
why it's as expensive as it is.
Being a radio guy, we're always free.
Sure, absolutely. Sponsorships,
That's right.
lots of sponsorships.
That's right.
Talk about the game, Union County and the Spartans in the first game.
A good game. A good game. Spartans exceeded my expectations, I think. Thought they come out and played well. Union County was ready, as they always are. But,
Yes.
But in the end, we wore them down.
They had some tall
Some
kiddos on
big
their
guys
sideline when they
and
came in.
not
I mean,
just-
there were some big guys.
Not just tall, they had some
Yeah.
little bit of bulk on them.
Yeah, they did. Bigger than what I remember them
Right.
from last year, but
It's just the atmosphere there, though, on opening night.
Yes.
It's unsurpassed.
It doesn't happen again during the season, does it?
No, not really.
we might come close Friday. Or
might.
Franklin County. It might.
Right, the neighborhood rivals, but it's that opening night when it's homecoming. We don't call it homecoming, but it's homecoming because kids are home from college.
Sure.
And the other guys that maybe have moved away, some of the older ones, they all come back and they want to go to Spartan Bowl and they want to go to Pizza King and Kunkel's and those places that they haven't been for a while. And, so the basketball game itself, I thought we played well. I talked to Coach Mack afterwards, and coaches always want better performances, but
Sure.
But it was a nice double-digit win for the Spartans, and some guys we hadn't seen, some new faces, and so I think it's a quality product. Now, on Saturday night, they played an extremely good team on Saturday night and didn't come away with a win like we would have liked. But I would encourage people to talk about those tickets, come and buy those tickets, and no matter how you buy them, get them online and so you can walk right in. So these young men and the young women too, that the Lady Spartans really deserve our support from the community, and I think they get it pretty well. But there could always be more.
Yeah. And I think that they're playing hard. It's almost like basketball this year is more hard-nosed, and I don't know what it is, if it's a coaching change, if it's just a kid, the difference in the kids and the different style, with graduating on both the girls and the boys side. But I mean, they're on the ground, they're diving, they're competing until the whistle. And I mean, you had boys flying into the bleachers, boys flying into the bench. I mean, and that was one thing that Coach Mack said at his parent meeting is, I will play the boys who work the hardest. You may be, he goes, I do play favorites, and my favorites are the ones that work hard. If it doesn't matter if you score, no, and if you score 20 points, great. But if you're out hustling and getting steals and causing stops and causing turnovers, like that's what the coach is looking for. And so, and you can tell the boys that took that to heart, and they give 110% every time they're out there. And I think the same thing holds true for the girls. You got girls that are trying to fight for, varsity playing time, or they don't see the floor a lot, and they want to fight hard to get their minutes in, and also win. So it's fun to see. I mean, yes, the outcome doesn't always come out the way we want, but I think some of the naysayers that are out there, and there's a lot out there. If you are a social media person that likes to make comments, just remember we got kids. We got high school kids. We don't have NBA players. We don't have college players. We have high school kids right now.
They don't get paid.
They see these comments that people make, and I want to advocate for our kids.
Well, it's unfortunate that
absolutely
happens.
And they work hard, and when you come up and say, well, I expected that to happen, or they weren't as good as last year, well, they're different kids. They're not the same team. They're not the same coaches.
And we all knew that coming in.
Absolutely.
It's a whole new group.
Yes, I mean, you just have to be, again, I've preached it during football season. You got to be positive. These kids read those comments. They're in the community. They need your support. They don't need your negative comments. And if that's what you have to say, I mean, I think you need to stop. I mean, delete, type what you want to say and then delete it and then move on, because I don't know. They just worked so hard to get that.
Yeah, and they deserve our support.
They do.
One thing you asked about Wednesday night, friend, that what I saw, we had 3 guys in double figures and another guy scored 9. So balanced scoring, and that wins you. That wins you games that they're not keying on one. They can't defensively key on one player.
Absolutely. I mean, and just making plays happen is what I've noticed. There's a lot of kids that, you're right, they're not scoring those double digits, but they're making plays. They're making
Sure.
plays for their
That's
other
important.
teammates. And, the assists, I like to see, I haven't looked at the stats yet, but, what do the assists look like for some of those kids? Because they might be just as high
Well,
as
important.
some of the points. Absolutely.
important to
Yep,
the team.
absolutely they are.
The thing you talked about, giving up their body and all that, and diving, a little before your time, but I always call it a Mike Heineman play, because Mike Heineman, a state champion on state champion '83 team, he would headlong dives like Pete Rose going in into second base on a steal. It's just giving up the body
Yeah.
for the team.
Doing anything
fun to watch.
get there. They were fun to watch. Absolutely.
We have some highlights from the game with Union County and the Spartans, the Spartan Bowl. So let's just look at those right now.
There you can see a nice crowd at the Palace.
Yeah. Helped getting the first bucket of the game.
It always
that was
does.
Nice.
Yeah, they see it go in. And there's a newcomer right there, Kevin Seeley, driving in. Nice little
He
J.
spent a lot of time on the floor. He
Yes,
was
he-
one that was
Yeah.
diving and all over the place.
Xander knocking down the threes.
Those hit at the right time too.
Mm-hmm.
He hit a couple big ones there. Hunter Allen added a lot of spark.
Yeah.
He's a kind of a new face
Sure, yes.
to the varsity team. Most of them are new faces to the varsity team. Trot Davison came back out to play his senior year.
Big
so
body.
Seeing him out there getting some minutes, that's nice.
Another one from Xander, bullseye, as I like to say. Hunter Allen, didn't know him at all. He started the JV game and
Yep.
started the varsity game too.
Yeah, he is a good kid. He works hard. If you notice, he's all over the place, taking it to the basket. Blaine is the returning
The returning
returner.
player.
I can't
And
even say returning starter.
No.
He's the returner from the team,
He's
and
the one with the experience, yes.
Yep, and they know that. Those teams are on him. Peterson came in there in the second half and added a little bit to the floor as well.
Some quickness. And,
Yep.
talking to Coach Mack, he said, we don't have a lot of experience, but the only way to get experience is to play.
Absolutely.
So he's
He's
absolutely right.
absolutely right. And you've got some sophomores out there, a good mix of sophomores and juniors. I'm glad Kevin, came out to play with us this year.
Nice look at him as he drives
Yep.
in. And there's the old victory bell. I don't know how long that's been around, but since I was a little boy, they'd wheel that thing
Yeah,
out.
it's out there. And somebody asked me, I think it was Delta's kiddos on Saturday. They're like, "What is that bell?" I said, "It's a victory bell." Well, when does it get rung? And I'm like, "Well,
Duh.
if we win." "Oh, so you roll it out there?" Yes. So that was a funny comment that they made because they noticed it when they were down the
Mr.
tunnel.
Obvious.
Yeah. So, but they called attention to that, so that was good.
Yeah, well, it was a fun night. It surely was, and a couple nights later, it was fun also. When Delta came, Delta's a good basketball team. We came up short on that, but those kinds of games I think prepare us for on down the season because it's not easy, the schedule that we have.
It is not easy.
But always, if you want to be the best, you got to play the best. And
I can't remember. Was Delta the team that went to semi-state? They went to semi-state last year?
I think so.
Okay.
Coach Detweiler, he's done a good job up there. Of course, he many years over at Union County.
Yeah. And our boys started out, 11-0,
Yeah.
13-4, something like that. The boys started, and they were right there with them. They fought till the end. It
were.
wasn't a blowout. It wasn't
No.
one of those, well, yeah, Delta's going to win. The boys fought hard. They got down to the last quarter, and, free throws, that foul with the 5 fouls, that does hurt a little bit. I think the girls witnessed that on Saturday morning. That foul number 6 is not a 1-and-1 anymore. It's an automatic 2,
Right.
and depending on who you foul.
Yeah, it's going to change the game. I thought at first with the girls, watching the girls' first several games, this really doesn't change that much. But they keep wanting to speed up the game, which never makes sense to me. And all this has done late in the game is slow the game down because you're still going to foul to get that ball back if you're behind.
Yeah.
And what it does then, instead of a 1-and-1, it's 2 shots.
Sure. And it does make a huge difference.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, just like at the girls' game against Batesville. Batesville was 10 of 12 at the line. I think we were 2 of 10
Mm-hmm.
there in the last quarter. So, I mean, that was kind of a difference maker. I think the kids were working so hard to try, both teams, boys and girls, were working so hard in that fourth quarter on Saturday that they couldn't get a rhythm. Like they'd get a steal, then they'd make a pass, and then they'd make a turnover. And then they would go the other end, they'd make a stop, and then they'd come back, and then they'd get ready to shoot, and they'd make a turnover. So it's early. Good thing is it's early, and both of those games are winnable games down the road.
It was tough with the girls down at Batesville. Really, being a conference game, I thought Batesville played well.
They did.
I just thought this is a game that's going to be close and one that we will win. And unfortunately, we didn't win either one down there.
I mean, it was close, but I mean, they had height. They definitely had that high-low between their 2 juniors there. We got Haley. She's our height. And so you don't really have a whole lot of other height that's down there. And J.C. Wilhelm was not feeling the best. She'd been on the couch for a couple of days, so she wasn't quite with her game.
Yes.
And they were doing that 1-2-2 half-court trap, and our girls wanted to keep throwing it over the top, and the girl would intercept it, and away they went. So I think the varsity figured it out a little bit better than the JV did, but I don't know that the JV was quite there. They had some issues getting down there, and then they didn't get a warm-up as much, and I think some of that kind of threw them off. But, that wasn't a very pretty game for them, for the JV at least.
And it doesn't get any easier.
It does not.
Thursday night, Mount Vernon, you've experienced
Mount Vernon comes to town. Mount Vernon comes to town. They're a tough team to play, and they're at home though, so that's a good. That's a good thing to have them here.
Coach Shelton, I think she's still there, and
I believe so. Yes.
She's done of course, she was there, left, went to Butler, and came back, and does a tremendous job up there with her girls. But as you said, it's at home, and that helps. And a 1:30 start.
JV's at noon. No, Thursday's. It's Thursday, so it's
that's
to 6 and 7:30. Yeah, Saturday's Greensburg.
I'm getting ahead of myself.
No, you're good. Thursday is Mount Vernon, 6 and 7:30.
Right.
And then Saturday is Greensburg for the girls, noon and 1:30. Yes.
1:30.
And then the boys that night against Shelbyville. So I think we just did your schedule for you, Fran. But we'll let you go ahead and do that.
we might mention the schedule now.
That's all right. Go ahead.
See what we got right and what we got wrong here. Okay, on Monday, the middle school red basketball is home with Batesville. The freshman basketball is home with Lawrenceburg, and they play in the bowl.
No, they play at the field house.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
On Tuesday, the middle school white basketball team will be home with Seton Catholic. Co-ed swimming at Eastern Hancock. That will be starting at 6 p.m. So that's come right around the corner for the swim team.
Yep, swim team actually competed on Saturday. Our big team of 12 actually was very close. I know the girls were very close with Mount Vernon. The boys, if they had more numbers, I think would have been a lot closer. We had some great times early in the season for the kiddos. I think they competed very well. We've never competed against Mount Vernon, so that was nice to see. But yes, they traveled to Eastern Hancock on Tuesday, and that's at Eastern Hancock Batesville. So it'll be a three-team meet. So just another chance for our kiddos to get out there and get in the pool and set some better times.
I was happy to be able to see the whole thing on Saturday. With fewer numbers, it does go faster.
It does, and no diving, unfortunately.
No diving,
so that does kind of, and I'm kind of glad because I think they had some divers, so that would have boosted up their score a little bit more too. But I wish we had some divers.
Kids swam hard. I mean, we've got some good swimmers. We just don't have the numbers.
I know, we could use about 5 on each team.
On Wednesday this week, wrestling will be home with Milan. That starts at 6 o'clock.
They wrestle there in the old gym at the high school. So this is a new home match for us. We've never wrestled Milan at home. But we see them at South Dearborn. We see them down at sectionals. We see them, regionals and on. So it's kind of nice to see them through the season.
That's great.
More experience,
The wrestling team has some good
we do. We have good members and we have good numbers. So we should be able to fill all of our weight classes.
That's great.
As long as they hit their weight, we can hit all our weight classes.
We'll keep our fingers crossed.
We will.
That's your main job.
I guess, yes. Get them to hit weight, right?
On Thursday, the co-ed swimming will be at Hagerstown. That starts at 5:30. The middle school basketball red team will be home with Hagerstown at 6. The Lady Spartans basketball home with Mount Vernon, games at 6 and 7:30. And on Friday, Spartan basketball home against Rushville, games at 6 and 7:30. Expecting quite a crowd for that ball game?
I would say so. I mean, Rushville's always a big game. We always have a decent crowd with it being a close rival. I'm sure, there's a lot of rumbling. Carrie Brown's coming back to town.
Each was a new coach.
Yeah, new coach versus old coach and new team versus a different team. So I have a feeling there'll be some people there just to kind of watch to see how it unfolds.
I think so.
Yeah,
yes.
So it should be, I would hope it's a good turnout.
It's always fun when
Yeah.
Rushville and Connersville plays. And
Yep.
It's one of the 2 R's that I always say we need to win both.
And we
those
host
R's,
both of them this year,
Rushville
yep.
and Richmond. So
Yep. So it should be a good night.
Okay, the Lady Spartans basketball will be home with Greensburg, as we talked about, at 1:30. And that, again, is that the varsity time?
Varsity times
Oh,
1:30, JV plays at noon.
Okay. And then on the evening, it'll be freshman, JV, and varsity basketball home with Shelbyville. The games start at 6 and 7:30, right?
Yep, so freshmen and JV will play at the same time. Freshmen will play in the arena.
Okay.
And JV will play in the bowl. And then at 7:30, then everybody moves to the bowl for the varsity game.
It's an interesting night, triple header.
Yep, we had quite a few of those last year too. So we couldn't do the triple header with Shelbyville there last year because they didn't have enough.
enough numbers.
Yeah, their numbers at JV were low, so they had to play some of their freshmen on JV. But we did end up playing them with freshmen. But this year, I haven't heard anything. The intent is they're still bringing all 3.
Are we going to have some more triple headers?
Let's see. Pendleton Heights is a triple header for the boys. Let's see. Noblesville, but that's there.
Don't have the numbers to do triple headers with the girls. Right?
We do not. We don't have a freshman team for the girls. Trying to think of what else. I can't remember. Jennings County, I believe, is a freshman JV varsity. That's home this year as well. Mount Vernon, it will be home this year.
Then we'll have a girl-boy double header with South Dearborn.
Yes.
And I think it's there this year.
Correct.
That's coming up before Christmas, right? Maybe
I
not.
believe so. I wrote it on my calendar. I think it's not next Saturday, but the following. So I think it's a Saturday before the Christmas break.
It's always interesting to have that type of an evening,
Yeah.
girls and boys.
I think hosting it is a little bit challenging, trying to find enough workers to be in both gyms because you're hiring 3, 6, 10 officials for the evening because you have different officials for each one. So I mean that's the challenge, and then having enough workers to cover the score and the announcing and all of that stuff. So I'm glad we're not hosting. How's that for this one? We hosted that last year.
And it's fun and it's good for the fans, but it cuts down on your gate.
It does. It's hard.
Because one ticket gets you into both of them.
Yeah, it's challenging, I think, to run it just because of that reason, because your JV kiddos are always in one gym and your varsity's in the other, and it is challenging, I think. So,
And
but it
from
does get the
it's
girls
challenging
more.
from a broadcast standpoint, too.
Absolutely.
To close out one game and start another one right away.
Sure, and I think it gets the girls more exposure, especially when it was at home. There was a bigger
Yes,
crowd that evening
yes.
because of having the boys' game, which I wish it wasn't that way, but that's how it is right now.
But it might spark some interest of people that normally wouldn't come to girls' games. They come and
Sure.
see the second half, maybe,
Sure.
and say, hey, this is fun. We need to come back.
Absolutely.
Anything new in your department that we should discuss here?
You know,
For the
I
benefit
don't know.
of
The classic is a month away as of tomorrow. So working
Okay.
on the wrestling classic and getting those things pinpointed. We're going to be pushing out links for digital ticketing just for the people who don't have their all sport tickets. So kind of help spread the word with that, because I know that that's kind of how most schools are leaning. I know some schools don't use EventLink ticketing, but that's how a lot of schools are leaning. So trying to get our fans used to using that if they have to. Encourage people to buy their all sport tickets. We still have those available in the office. Students are $40, adults are 80, and then we have the lifetime, which is 70, and we still have our
Yes.
senior citizen, which is 55. I'm sorry, $55 for 65 and over. So we have those Letterman jackets. We have some of those in the office. So if anyone's looking for a Christmas present, I guess, for their kiddo, we still have some that are currently in stock that we can get rid of.
Any other merch?
We do. We actually, our bookstore now is selling merchandise. So we've got pajama pants and hoodies and t-shirts. We've got basic, and we also have Nike brand. We've got some scarves, hats. So we're trying to kind of sell merchandise there. So we'll kind of push that out for the month of December.
So if somebody, a parent or grandparent, wanted to, they just come to the office and
Come to
say
the office and say they want to go to the bookstore. Yep. And there's a few sizes of each. We didn't get a whole bunch just to kind of see how it went over, but everything right now is red. We don't have anything in white or gray, but everything is red. But we're looking at adding some more things, especially for the staff and for the students. But Joey at the Sportsman store has been helping us with getting some stuff. I think he's going to send some more stuff out. We also plan to set up at some of the games and try to see what people need. Because it's hard, because I know Joey's open until 5, but a lot of people don't get off until 5. And so they can't get down there. And we want people to have Spartan gear.
Yeah, it looks good when our visitors show up, and it looks good when we go on the road.
Absolutely. So hopefully we can push that out.
We want them to know who we are.
Exactly.
There'll be basketball during the holidays for both the boys and girls.
Yeah, so the boys, so we have the Wrestling Classic on Thursday, Friday, the 28th and 29th, right after Christmas. The girls are going to travel to Frankton. They've never played Frankton, at Frankton, for just a JV varsity game up there on Thursday. And then the boys are traveling to Lawrenceburg to play in the first annual Ray Fernie Classic.
Who is that fellow?
I don't know who that is. I don't know if he was a famous basketball player or
somebody from Lawrenceburg, I think.
a donor, maybe.
like
I'm not sure.
That's probably
Kind of like
true.
Chuck Weddick when we used to play the wedding tournament.
Yep,
I didn't know who that was.
He
either.
was a manager, I believe. I think he was a longtime manager at Richmond that did all the laundry, like an adult person who did the laundry and stuff for all the teams, I believe. I'm not sure on that one. But, so they'll be down there. The boys will be down there for an all-day tournament. I think there's 12 teams in there. I think there's a team from Alabama coming up, and then a couple teams from Ohio or Kentucky that'll be playing in that. The girls are not playing in a tournament this year. They picked up Frankton, and they'll play Northeastern the Friday before Christmas, which those are the 2 new games they picked up in place of the holiday. Trying to think of what else. We got the middle school kiddos are going down to St. Louis Catholic to play in a tournament.
Batesville.
Down in Batesville to play in a little tournament there to get them some more games in. And I think the JV wrestling team also has a wrestling tournament there at Shenandoah. So quite a few things still.
The JV, but basketball, how will they play? Because they won't be in that tourney, will they?
They will not be in that tournament. No.
Yeah,
So they, I have a feeling though that Coach will probably take quite a few of them along with him.
Okay.
Just to add some numbers, some depth to the bench, because he's played some of them. So that'll give him a chance to dress some of them.
Be interesting toward the end of the year for a lot of things going on.
There are.
Busy.
My favorite month of the year, December. Everyone's decorating at home, and I'm not.
Think
spend
of
a
it
lot of
this
time
way,
there.
If you don't put it up, you don't have to take it down.
That is very true. That is very true.
Well, as you mentioned earlier in the program, we got to keep positive with these kids, win or
Absolutely.
lose. They work hard, and that's what you want. If they work hard, you can't criticize.
Absolutely, and I think that's the best thing that we need to do moving forward. I mean, you've got kids that are giving their best. And
That's
it may
right.
not be enough to win, but they are giving their best every single day, and they're getting better, and they want to be there.
Sure.
You know, they get yelled at. Yeah, they get yelled at. They run. Some of the kids are sick, and they're there. But at the end of the day, they work their tails off, and I think as a community, we need to support them and be positive and show up for them and just be the best people that we can be for them.
Thanks, Andrea. Thanks for joining us. And it's always a
Absolutely.
pleasure to have you with us.
Thank you for having me.
Everybody, have a nice evening and continue watching TV3 and the Spartan Sports Report. Thanks for joining us. Goodbye.